We're dropped right into an unexpected moment. Two people, alone, and something intense unfolding between them. He seems nervous, but something about her presence draws him in. She notices the look in his eyes and pauses, unsure. Then he gently places a hand on her shoulder and tells her to lie down. She doesn't hesitate. What follows is quiet but powerful. There's no conversation, only the feeling. For someone who's always been wary of others, it's hard to believe he's letting anyone this close. He tells himself it feels amazing, even if he never imagined being in a situation like this. But to really understand what's happening, we need to go back in time. The setting shifts to the Blackhawks interview room. A team representative sits behind a desk, a paper in hand. Across from him, two women sit side by side. He begins lightly, commenting how one of their names sounds like one in both Korean and English, saying it suits someone with a statistics background. Then he shifts gears, asking if baseball is something she likes. She's honest, says she's not that into it. That surprises him. He questions why someone with perfect grades and a strong background would apply. But she answers with quiet confidence, saying she simply loves analyzing things and will give her best. That earns his approval. He points out that passion is for the players, and for the rest, doing the job well is what matters. With that, she gets the job. Time skips forward. Now 28, she works in the SWOT analysis team of the Blackhawks baseball club. As the workday ends, she finishes up her tasks with a little spark of joy. "Work done," she silently celebrates. Someone nearby calls out, inviting her for a drink, but she quickly apologizes and hurries off, saying she needs to go home. As she walks away, there's a soft pang in her heart. It's small, but real, like missing yet another chance to connect. She always leaves right when the clock hits the end. One coworker jokes about her rush, wondering if someone will bite her if she doesn't get home fast. No boyfriend, no friends, just her obsession with one particular man, the first love she never let go of. Later that night, she sits at her laptop looking him up. He's a rising star, 192 centimeters tall and playing in the MLB since high school. She once dreamed of becoming a mathematician, but that dream fell apart under the weight of financial struggles. His debut back then had felt like a miracle. Since then, her new dream became following his career, hoping one day their paths might cross. As she scrolls, a wave of pride fills her. He just won the Cy Young Award for the 4th time. She gets upset over the constant rumors surrounding him, but refuses to stop reporting the stories. Then, a message pops up from someone she knew in the States. Bambino, a regular contact she shares analysis with. This time, the message hints at a possible scandal. Her heart pounds. There's a picture attached. A man seen from behind, too blurry to confirm. Still, unease settles deep inside her. She tries to calm down, tells herself to brush her teeth and sleep early, but the thoughts won't leave. Next morning, she arrives at work with visible eye bags. A coworker notices. They talk briefly, about overtime, about Christmas dinner, about how swamped their departments are. She checks the internet again and again. Nothing much, until a headline appears, the kind that makes her blink in disbelief. He might be returning to South Korea. She reads it again. It's true. 3 days ago, he confirmed it at a press conference. And now, back in the present, he's finally here, with a quiet smile and a simple greeting. Long time no see. Right after our guy's press conference, everything explodes. The media can't stop talking. After 6 straight years of dominance, he'd just been offered the highest annual salary for a pitcher. 10 more years with King, and he could have stayed the golden boy. Sure, batters still earn more, but he kept pushing through those last 2 seasons, determined to prove he was worth the top spot in the whole league. So now, everyone expected him to take the crown. But instead, he shocks the world by signing with the Blackhawks in South Korea. Just like that, social media melts down. Headlines go wild. Fans can't believe it. Meanwhile, the female lead is sitting at her desk, and she's definitely not cheering. The whole office is buzzing, people chatting about how this might finally lift Korea from the bottom of the ranks. Some say it's a lucky win for the Blackhawks. Others wonder if something bigger is going on. But she's just there, furiously chewing her sandwich, her heart pounding. She doesn't get it. Why would he give up everything? Her thoughts are racing, and even though the team's got a shot at greatness now, All she can think is that her head might actually explode. Then, just as her brain spirals, a coworker points out something totally different. Our female lead's wardrobe. Apparently, she's been dressing cuter lately. She doesn't deny it. In fact, she even giggles a little, admitting she's a fan of our guy. 3 days pass, and the storm still hasn't calmed. Our girl is flooded with tasks, juggling phone calls, and already dreading the late night ahead. With arms full of files, she trudges down the hallway. That's when a soft breeze sneaks in, and for just a second, everything feels still. She looks up. The sky looks almost pretty. It's quiet, calm. But that moment's gone in a flash. Her pen slips, the files spill everywhere, and papers flutter down like confetti. When she kneels to grab them, someone walks up, and when she looks up, she freezes. It's him, our guy, Jinhwon Kim. But he doesn't stop, doesn't glance her way, just walks past, as if she's invisible. And somehow, that hurts more than she expects. We find out he's returned on a minimum salary, saying it's to thank the fans. But in that split second, her heart stings like he never knew her at all. She pulls herself together and heads into a meeting. A few team members are already inside, laptops open, voices rising. They're all debating the same thing. Why did he come back? One even suggests something might be wrong with his health. But our female lead is ready. She stands up and confidently pulls up his records, pointing out his incredible stats from the last season. Some are impressed, others stay skeptical. Then someone teases her, saying she must really be a fan. That comment makes her quietly beam, even as she tries to hide it. Later, she finds herself watching him train. He's alone, focused, constant. From our view, it's kind of sweet. She thinks about how, just by watching him work, she gets to see him every day, and that thought makes her heart flutter. But then, out of nowhere, he appears right next to her. He gives a polite nod, nothing more, before walking off. It's brief, but it's enough to make her chest tighten. That night, she scrolls through blogs. One post says baseball players are easy to attract. She rolls her eyes but keeps reading. Another one says if you never confess, you'll regret it forever. That one hits her. He's only here for a year. If she does nothing, she'll always wonder. The thought terrifies her more than rejection. So she decides to go for it. The next morning, she catches him before training. She's nervous, barely able to speak. He stops, mildly impatient, waiting. She shoves something into his hand, blurting out that she's a fan. He takes it easily. No surprise there. He's always kind to fans. That gives her a little courage. Then, in a shaky voice, she says she likes him. The moment freezes. He looks uncomfortable, says he has to go train. Desperate now, she blurts out that she's loved him for 10 years, since high school. That finally makes him pause, but only for a breath. He gives a vague reply and turns to walk away. Then comes the moment that makes us all wince. She stammers, asking if maybe he'd sleep with her. His face changes instantly, disgusted. The coldness in his eyes is sharp. He doesn't say a word, just walks off, leaving her behind, humiliated. She remembers the rumors that he likes any woman, but looking into the glass of a store nearby, she feels her confidence crack. Maybe she's not attractive. Maybe she misunderstood everything. Holding back tears, she drags herself back to work. That night, after saying goodbye to a coworker, she thinks about grabbing a beer to forget it all. But then something unexpected happens. She sees him again. Our guy, by a car, mask on. A woman approaches him. They hug, and her breath catches in her throat. Because the woman isn't just anyone. It's Yoon So, a famous married actress in her 40s. Our girl gasps as the car drives away, stunned by what she just saw. From the audience's view, it's clear her world is spinning. She can't believe her eyes. Her longtime crush, a star baseball player with a married actress in her 40s? It doesn't make sense. But she saw it, and it hurts. Her thoughts spiral as she recalls that vague interview 2 years ago where he hinted at someone who always sent him things when he needed them. The interviewer had joked about a secret lover, and he didn't deny it. She convinces herself that the woman from that day must have been Yin So. That must be why he came back. Not for his career. Not for Korea, but for her. The next day at the Blackhawks Stadium, he's back on the field. Officials hover nearby, all smiles and flattery. One laughs about ordering 20 jerseys with his number. But our girl doesn't join in. She speaks up, saying his slider usage has been increasing lately. Everyone looks shocked. They knew her as a fan-turned-critic, and those can be the harshest. Still, she continues, calmly pointing out how pitch values are shifting, how his style might no longer match the current trends. She suggests he use four seams and change-ups more. Her coworkers try to hush her, reminding her of his major league past. But she shrugs it off, saying if he can't handle advice from someone here, maybe that says enough about him. The male lead walks toward her, frowning, and they stare each other down. When she finally walks away, her heart pounds with frustration. She feels more certain than ever that the crush she held for 12 years is over. Later, she stops him after training, standing firm with teary eyes. She says she doesn't want her one-sided feelings to end this way. He's annoyed. He thinks back to her earlier words, admitting to himself they weren't wrong, but now he just finds her unbearable. She calls him by name and tells him she knows about his relationship with Yin Seo. That shocks him. They move their conversation to his place, where he coldly asks what she wants. She pulls out a sheet of paper and slides it across the table, calling it a negotiation. He's confused at first, but reads it anyway. It's a contract proposing a 1-month relationship in exchange for her silence. No money, no threats, just a strange offer and a request for intimacy 10 times during the contract. At the end, she agrees to quit her job without a word. He stares at her, stunned by how detailed the paper is. No mention of money, just the relationship. It makes no sense to him. He asks why she's talking like this, and she responds softly, shyly mentioning her preferences. He snaps at her, clearly disturbed. He keeps staring, thinking she must be some kind of mix of every strange person he's dealt with before. He tries to scare her off by suggesting they just get it over with, thinking she'll back down. But she doesn't. She stays. A little while later, he sits on his bed, still fully dressed, staring as she walks out in a bathrobe. She mentions casually that she used his hairdryer, and in that moment, he's speechless. She's really doing this. We see our male and female leads sitting on the bed, both turned away from each other, like they're trying to ignore what just happened, even though the silence between them says a lot. She's sitting in a bathrobe, looking down at her lap, and he keeps glancing at the floor, like it might offer him a way out of this awkwardness. From our point of view, it's obvious that things didn't turn out as smooth or casual as anyone might have expected. His mind is somewhere else, tangled in confusion. He didn't think she would actually go through with this, and he definitely didn't expect himself to feel this tense. Then, out of nowhere, she breaks the silence by asking if she should help him undress. Her voice is calm, maybe too calm. He stiffens at her words, but tries not to show it. He leans back, half smirking, half annoyed, telling her to go ahead and try. It comes out like a dare, but his tone has this weird hesitation to it. As she moves closer and kneels in front of him, he tells himself he's not affected. But there's this small twitch in his fingers, like his body knows better. He tries to stay cold. To him, this should be nothing. No one's ever really touched him like this before. Well, aside from a few surgeons when he was younger, and maybe that's why this all feels so off. He was sure nothing would happen, that he'd just let her try. Pretend it didn't work and send her away. But instead, he starts noticing things. Her hands, small, warm, a little shaky. The scent of her shampoo, barely there but just enough to tick something in his chest. The way she doesn't rush, like she's really focused, like this moment matters. It throws him off completely. And somehow, before either of them fully realizes it, things cross a line. We, watching all this, don't really know what to say. It's not rushed or bold like it began. It's emotional, strangely soft. He's caught off guard by how good she is at making him feel things he didn't even think he could feel. It's almost like he forgot this started from a contract and not love. But then she suddenly trembles, and a soft cry escapes her. That's when he looks down and sees blood on the floor. Everything stops. His breath catches, his brain races. He stares at her, unsure what to say or even feel. Did she lie to him? Was she really a virgin? Why would she do all this? He asks her why she's crying, and instead of breaking down, she just says it felt good, like a dream, just one line. That one simple sentence messes him up inside. Her voice is so honest, like she's not even aware of how much her words are affecting him. He blinks a few times, unsure what to do with the guilt and surprise washing over him. All the anger, all the discomfort, just slips away without warning. For the first time in a long time, he wants to reach out, maybe hold her, maybe say something that doesn't sound cold. But just as he's finally starting to feel something warm for her, she speaks again, bringing up the contract. She gently reminds him that they've already completed the first part. It shuts the whole moment down like flipping a switch. She slowly gets up, puts her clothes back on quietly, then turns and bows like she's just wrapping up a formal meeting. No emotion, no drama. She walks out of the room without looking back, and the door clicks shut behind her. And he's left there, frozen, still sitting on the bed, watching that door like it just betrayed him. From where we sit, we can almost feel the confusion pouring off him. His lips part like he wants to say something but doesn't know what. How did she go from being so bold to looking so drained? That's what keeps hitting him. She looked so pale, so different from how she was when she walked in. His thoughts spiral. If she was the one who blackmailed him, then why does it seem like she's the one hurting now? Why didn't she say more? Why does her silence feel heavier than her words? He keeps replaying her quiet voice, that line about it feeling like a dream, and somehow that sticks with him more than the entire contract. And just like that, we're left sitting beside him in silence, wondering what she really wanted from this, and what he's supposed to feel now that she's gone. We're introduced to our girl as she crashes onto her couch, wincing from the soreness in her lower body. Right away, we realize something happened between her and Jinhwon the night before. She starts thinking about it, and just like that, her mind drifts into confusion. At first, she felt like she was on cloud 9, finally experiencing her long-awaited moment with him. Yet now, she's feeling strangely empty. We get to hear her thoughts as she wonders if this always happens after getting close with someone. She had dreamed of being with her first love, and although he didn't act out the wild stories she had heard about him and was even gentler than she expected, she can't shake off the hollow feeling. Still, she quietly promises herself she'll let her feelings for him fade, little by little, no matter what. The next day, we see her walk into the office, smiling at her coworkers while trying to hide how she really feels. She takes her seat and gets a file from Jinho, who encourages everyone to work hard this season. As she opens it, she starts thinking about how their data on the players isn't as detailed as she'd like. She wants the team to have better information, just like Major League players do. So, she tells herself to push harder. As if that wasn't enough, a coworker, Mr. Park, suddenly groans about the amount of work he has. She immediately offers to help, which surprises him in a good way. He gladly accepts, calling her a lifesaver. And while she's typing away, she pauses and admits something to herself. Even though she once joined the company because of our guy, she's starting to enjoy her job on its own. That feeling she had in the morning, turns out it was relief. Meanwhile, at the stadium, the players are deep in training, but something's clearly off to the male lead. We see him gripping a baseball tightly, his face filled with frustration. A few players nearby notice and whisper among themselves, thinking maybe he's just having a rough morning. However, inside his head, it's total chaos. He keeps replaying last night, kicking himself for not doing more. His thoughts are wild and messy, and just when he tries to shake them off, he suddenly remembers he was blackmailed into it. That thought alone keeps repeating in his mind, even after practice ends and they're in the locker room. Now, as he leaves, two of his teammates start chatting about how a lucky charm in the locker might help win the season. He hears the word talisman and oddly keeps repeating it in his head on the way home. Just when we think he's calmed down, a fan runs up asking for a photo. At first, he turns her down, but then he agrees. Yet, right when she gets close, something inside him snaps. He walks away, unable to hide his irritation. The fan is left upset, calling him arrogant, just like the rumors say. We see our guy standing in front of the restroom mirror at the Blackhawks facility. His face looks tense as water drips from the tap in front of him. From the way he's staring at his reflection, we know something's eating him up inside. He mutters to himself about how he still feels sick whenever someone stands too close. But somehow, with that one woman, it didn't happen, and just when we think he might brush it off, he suddenly stops and scowls. His expression sharpens. In his mind, he decides there's only one explanation. She must be the talisman. The next day, training continues as usual. We spot Hana arriving at the pitch, greeting a player beside the male lead with a cheerful, "Good morning, Mr. Yang." Yang responds kindly and then steps away from our guy to talk to her. His tone turns a bit nervous as he wonders aloud if something might be wrong with his contract. But she calmly hands him a file and explains that it's just the data he had requested earlier. He's surprised to hear she was the one who worked on it. She admits that even though he had asked Mr. Park, she wanted to take a closer look herself so she could help out. Yang beams and thanks her sincerely, praising her for her accurate work, which has gained trust among the players and the new manager. She blushes slightly and confesses that she's a fan of his too, promising to work even harder. Their conversation ends with both of them laughing as she walks right past the male lead, without saying a single word. Now, from the audience's point of view, this is the moment that flips everything. Our guy stands there, totally frozen. His eyes widen as he watches her walk by like he's invisible. His mind goes blank for a second before snapping back. He asks himself, almost in disbelief, whether she just ignored him. Yang returns right after and politely asks if they can continue his training, but instead of answering, our guy gives him a cold glare. Without another word, he brushes past him and leaves. Inside the locker room, he slams his glove against the bench, clearly upset. He remembers her praising Yang and laughing with him just moments ago. His anger spills over as he huffs and wonders if she's doing all that just to get under his skin. He can't believe it. Him? Jealous? And yet, even as the thought rattles around in his head, something unexpected happens. His mood flips, and a slow smile spreads across his face. He scoffs and mutters to himself with a smirk, calling her cute, as if the idea is almost laughable. But from the look in his eyes, it's clear she's definitely gotten to him. We start off with our cheerful female lead, moving from one player to the next with her usual bright energy. She tells them she's rooting for them, and even says to herself that their happy faces give her strength. So she quietly promises to keep smiling at all of them, thinking it'll help her work harder too. She claps softly for a few as they practice, gives small encouraging gestures, and even offers a fist bump to one who looks nervous. Everyone seems to enjoy her presence, except for one. When she finally reaches our guy, her entire vibe shifts. His cold stare slices right through her cheerful mood. It catches her off guard, and we can almost feel her awkwardness through the screen. Without saying more, she quickly decides to just walk past him. She keeps her head low, telling herself it's better not to provoke him. But as if that wasn't already tense enough, just when she thinks she's escaped the weird mood, he shows up again out of nowhere. This time he slams his hand hard beside her on a vending machine, making her flinch. Now he's standing close, staring straight down at her with a harsh glare. His tone is sharp as he demands answers, asking how long she's been like this and how many players she's been flirting with. It's intense, and she has no idea what he's even talking about. Her confused reaction shows she's genuinely lost, but his anger keeps spilling out like he's been holding it in for too long. The atmosphere is heavy. And then suddenly, a coworker walks in on the scene. The timing couldn't be worse. Without knowing what's going on, the coworker assumes Hana must be bothering Jinhwon and immediately scolds her. She tries to explain that she didn't even speak to him. She looks at the floor, quietly saying that they'd already agreed not to talk at work, so she was just sticking to that, right? Then why is he mad? Nothing makes sense. She's left wondering how she could still be the one at fault. The moment sticks with her. It stings more than she shows. She tells herself he probably still sees her as a bother because of the past, and maybe that's why he won't believe a word she says. And right there, while she's still standing beside her annoyed coworker, she zones out. Her thoughts drift away from the moment, and she starts thinking to herself again. Maybe she shouldn't have greeted the other players so brightly. Maybe he took it the wrong way. But still, that doesn't mean he had to glare at her like that. He really does have the worst temper sometimes, doesn't he? As if things weren't already confusing enough, her coworker takes a moment to remind her that our guy isn't just any player. He's their team's pride and joy. That kind of reputation makes him untouchable. so she should be extra careful. After leaving her with that reminder, he walks away, leaving her completely alone in the hallway. She stands there for a while, staring at the vending machine, trying to pull herself together. Then, out of nowhere, her phone buzzes. It's a message. Her eyes widen when she sees who it's from. It's Jinhwon. The message is simple, but it throws her heart into chaos. It says, "Come to my place after work." She stares at the screen, shocked. He wants to meet again today, but their contract had specific dates. This isn't part of the deal. Her hands tremble a little as she holds her phone tighter. Her thoughts run wild. Then there'd be 9 more days left. No way. That's too fast. She bites her lip, thinking she needs more time. A whole month, maybe, just to settle her heart. She quietly decides she'll drag it out as long as she can, even though a small part of her is already racing at the thought of seeing him again tonight. In the next scene, we see her quietly heading over to his place. She still feels nervous, yet there's a bit of excitement too. The moment he tells her to sit, she takes in how effortlessly stunning he looks in casual clothes. We're told his stepfather comes from European nobility, and somehow that makes sense when we see how gracefully he holds his teacup. And just when she's hoping he'll offer her tea as well, he puts it down and hits her with another unexpected question. He once again brings up the team and asks how many guys she's hooked up with. She's shocked. She tells him he's the only one she ever made such a suggestion to, but it's clear he doesn't believe her. He still thinks her kind attitude toward the team is all fake, and even brings up how she could have said she was a virgin, suggesting that might have been why people were drawn to her. At this point, she's exhausted. She sighs deeply and softly tells him that she was only being nice to lift everyone's spirits. Then, with a heavy heart, she tells him that he's actually the only one she truly loves. The sad part is, he doesn't even realize how much she really means it. And we're left wondering, will he ever open his eyes and see what's right in front of him? She tells him she's loved him long before his debut and that they actually went to the same high school. This triggers something in him, especially when she brings out a blue pen he gave her all those years ago. He quietly repeats the school's name, now stuck in thought. When he asks if she really blackmailed him just to get close, she softly admits it, apologizing. While he seems overwhelmed by her confession, he also doubts it, wondering if it's really possible to love someone for over 10 years. Proffer 7%. He questions her further, still thinking she might be a stalker, but she insists again and again that she's just a fan, and you wouldn't believe what happens next. He says she has to prove it, and his idea of proof is definitely not what we expect. Out of nowhere, he suggests that if she really loved him that long, she should take off her clothes. She's stunned, wondering what kind of proof that even is. She tries to offer something else, saying she's kept data from all his games, but he shuts it down, saying that sounds more like stalking. She tells him it was just fan behavior, but he won't listen. He keeps pushing until she shyly refuses, saying her body still hurts from their last time together. That only makes him smirk, completely misunderstanding her. Just when we think she'll refuse again, she suddenly stands. His heartbeat speeds up. She starts removing her clothes slowly, and it makes him a little anxious, so he steps in and helps her finish in one swift move. Now she's left standing in just her underwear, feeling nervous as his eyes stay locked on her. Thanks for tuning in. If you're hooked and want more, please comment and subscribe. Your comments and subscriptions fuel my motivation to continue. I'll see you in the next part.